Think about that moment, when someone with real authority looks you in the eye and says, don't worry, I'll handle this.
Yeah.
You feel that sense of relief.
Oh, absolutely. Like a weight's been lifted.
But what happens when that promise it seems to evaporate, and the relief turns into frustration. That's really the heart of what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
We're looking at the experience of Muhammad Khan. He's a new business owner, a franchisee, who went straight to senior leadership for help.
Mm-hmm. And we're tracking what happened or maybe didn't happen after that big meeting.
Exactly. This isn't just about his specific situation, though. It kind of touches on something bigger, doesn't it? That feeling when commitments aren't kept.
It really does. And for Muhammad, starting a new business, you'd naturally count on that franchisor support. It's like fundamental.
Right.
So going to the top, it makes perfect sense when things aren't working. You need the person with the clout to fix it. That initial hope is pretty standard in these kinds of relationships.
Totally understandable. And he didn't go in empty-handed. He had his documents. He knew the issues. He went into that first meeting with the company president feeling, pretty optimistic.
Ready for solutions?
Yeah. He laid out these, really significant problems for a new store.
And they were significant. Things like marketing delays, you need that buzz right at the start. Signage problems were out. I mean, how do people even find you?
Mm-hmm.
And equipment gaps, basic operational stuff.
These aren't small things, are they?
Mm-hmm.
They hit the ability to actually make money.
Correctly. Yeah.
So the president's reaction, according to Muhammad anyway, seemed really positive, decisive even.
Mm-hmm.
A handshake, and then this direct line. No more emails. You come directly to me. I'll handle it personally.
Wow. That's a strong commitment from the president, no less.
It really is. It suggests, I'm taking ownership of this. So Muhammad felt good about it. He thought, okay, finally, things are going to change. That feeling of being heard, it's powerful when you're struggling.
Incredibly validating, and it sets a very clear expectation, doesn't it? When a leader says, I'll handle it, you expect action.
Right.
And when that action doesn't come, well, that can feel like a real breach of trust. It affects everything.
And that seems to be exactly where things went next. Muhammad says that despite that promise, the following month, 4 weeks, absolutely nothing changed.
Nothing.
Nothing. That plaza sign, still off.
Yeah.
The marketing flyers he needed, still missing in action. The equipment issues, still causing headaches day to day.
And crucially, he did what the president asked, right? He didn't send emails. He waited.
He waited. He held up his end, expecting them to take the initiative.
But silence.
Ugh. That really highlights the vulnerability, doesn't it? He's depending on them, and they just drop the ball, it seems.
You can imagine the frustration building. I mean, he wasn't asking for the moon, was he?
No. Just for them to deliver on the basics, the support he was supposed to get as part of the franchise agreement. It wasn't about new demands. It really underscores something about leadership. Those personal promises mean a lot. And when they're broken, the impact is huge. It hits morale, trust, everything.
Exactly. It's incredibly demoralizing, especially when you've put your own money and, your whole life into this venture based on their system. It makes you question the whole setup.
So after waiting patiently, Muhammad asks for another meeting, a follow-up.
That makes sense.
And this is where it gets even more frustrating for him. The meeting gets confirmed. He travels to the head office again.
Okay.
Only to be told upon arrival that the president, he wouldn't be attending.
Oh, come on. After telling him to come directly to him.
Right. Talk about feeling disrespected, your time, the effort, especially when you're seeking urgent help.
That kind of last-minute cancellation, especially without a direct rescheduling from the president himself, it sends a bad message. His problems weren't really a priority after all.
So instead, they had a senior operations representative meet with him.
Okay, well, operations are important, but...
But according to Muhammad, this person just couldn't answer a lot of his key questions. Maybe they weren't briefed or didn't have the authority. Either way, it wasn't the person who made the initial promise.
Yeah, that points to maybe a communication breakdown internally, doesn't it? The president sort of short-circuited the process by saying, come to me, but then wasn't there. And the team wasn't ready to step in seamlessly.
Right. So Muhammad leaves that second meeting, not with answers, but with even more questions. Just feeling stuck.
Understandably.
So at this point, the direct verbal approach clearly hadn't worked. So he shifts gears. He decides to send a formal follow-up email.
Smart move. Put it all in writing.
Exactly. Create that paper trail.
Yeah.
Document everything that's still outstanding.
It's logical. When talk doesn't translate to action, you need a written record. It puts the ball back in their court officially.
And the list he detailed in that email, it was pretty long. It really paints a picture.
What kind of things were still on there?
Okay, so the plaza sign still not working now for over 60 days. An unpaid refund for a roof repair he'd covered. Still no proof those marketing flyers were ever delivered. Missing store items, gift cards, equipment. Then there was some kind of issue with a neighbor's sign affecting his visibility. And questions about check documentation.
Wow, that's a lot. Each one of those is a problem, but altogether, that's a massive burden for a new franchisee.
Seriously. These aren't just little annoyances. They directly impact his ability to run the business, bring in customers, make any money.
It really highlights how dependent a franchisee is on the franchisor getting these basic things right.
One thing in that email really jumped out at me. It seemed so reasonable. He asked for simple proof that the marketing flyers were actually delivered near his store.
Just proof of delivery.
Yeah, like show me they went out in my area. Seems basic, right? If you're paying for marketing support, you should know it's happening.
Absolutely. That kind of transparency is fundamental. You need to know if the marketing you're, contributing to is actually being done. How else can you judge its value or plan your own local efforts?
Exactly. It's about accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this request, this seemingly simple question about flyer delivery that Mohammed says led him down a rabbit hole. He started digging into just that one issue.
Okay.
And what he apparently found, it started raising even bigger questions. Questions about, well, how the whole system was operating.
So the initial problems might have just been the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
This flyer thing potentially opened up something more systemic.
That's what his account suggests.
Yeah.
That digging into that one specific documented request led to unexpected findings.
Interesting.
Now, we need to pause here for a really important point. Everything we've discussed, everything Mohammed experienced or uncovered this, is his personal account, his perspective.
Right. Crucial distinction.
These are his allegations based on his experience. None of this has been tested or decided in, a court of law. We're exploring his narrative, trying to understand his journey through this.
That's vital context. We're looking at one person's documented experience and the questions it raises. Legal processes around these things can be, very complex and lengthy.
Okay, so just to quickly recap where we stand, Mohammed starts with hope after a direct promise from the top.
Which quickly turns into frustration due to inaction.
Then there's that disappointing second meeting, the president's a no-show. That pushes him to send the formal email listing all the outstanding issues.
And it's his request in that email for proof about the marketing flyers that sparks this deeper dive, leading to, apparently, some surprising discoveries about the process itself.
And it's that investigation, the documents, the timelines, what he found regarding those flyers, that's where we're headed next time. It sounds like it raises some pretty fundamental questions about accountability in these franchise setups. Definitely seems that way. And if you, listening, want to see some of the documents Mohammed shared or follow along, he's put information out there. The social media handle is @Gino's former franchisee. He also invites people with similar stories to connect.
Mohammed's experience really makes you think, doesn't it? Beyond just franchises, what does happen when people in positions of power make promises they don't keep?
Yeah.
What does it do to trust, to accountability? In any relationship, really, business or personal, it kind of leaves you wondering, what would you do if you were relying on a promise that just never came true?